Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Pimlico Race Course. And today at the races, I'm Tim Tulloch, joined by Naomi Tucker. Naomi, a little windy out there, but all in all, not so bad.
Not so bad at all. Yes, a touch windy, but the sun has been showing her face, and it means we have a beautiful fast track once again.
And we have a nice firm turf course. Also, we'll see two turf races today, race 5 and a race 9. Also, it's Friday. That only means one thing, Stronach 5 Friday. But before we get to that, we've got a big weekend in racing, the second biggest weekend in racing, I might add, second only to Black Eyed Susan and Preakness weekend, but it is still yet a big weekend. And Express Bet and First Bet has a free Kentucky Derby wagering guide. You can download this app at First Bet that right there. And Naomi, there's some picks and strategies from the experts, and rumor has it you're one of the experts.
I am. I made my Express Bet wagering guide debut for the Breeders' Cup last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, and actually did quite well. So big shoes to fill as the rookie to do well once again. But indeed, my picks for the Kentucky Derby, which I do believe we are going to discuss later on in this show as well, are in there, as well as at least two hands full of stellar handicappers from across the United States.
They left Keith Ustel and myself on the bench, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. We don't get our feelings hurt too easily, so we've been around a while. We're just old guys, so that's the way it goes. But also, we have the Derby Oaks money back thing going on. Naomi, tell us about that.
Yeah, you have a full card money back special at Churchill Downs today and tomorrow. And it's like having a free bet. When your win bet finishes second or third, you get your money back up to $10. So that, to me, means you have to at least take a chance, because the risk is significantly lower when you do get your money back if your horse doesn't win.
Absolutely. Go to first.com/bet/promotions and you can get in on that. And why not? That's a good deal right there for Kentucky Derby a weekend. Also, as we mentioned, today is Stronach 5. It gets kicked off right here at Laurel Park. Our race 8 as leg A. Leg B, race 9 at Gulfstream Park. Leg C, race 9 right back here at Pimlico. And leg D is race 3 at Santa Anita. And leg E is race 3 at Golden Gate Fields. Get into that. We're going to get into that later. Legs A and C are tough, very, very tough. We've offered up some nice races in the Stronach 5. I think it's going to be very, very well bet today. It's challenging, especially the races here in Maryland. As we are about to get kicked off with this show, we already talked about fast and firm today, about 65 degrees. A little bit of wind out there, huh, Naomi?
It is, but as we discussed earlier, a fast track once again. And it's been playing evenly. If you look back at winners from yesterday, we've had horses come from off the pace, horses get carried if they have enough speed to see out the distance. And then, of course, we have the firm turf back at it again today. So very much looking forward to that. And as you highlight, that race 9 on the turf here, that is a tricky heat to try and figure out.
4 deep. I went 4 deep in our races for the Stronach 5 and my Rainbow Pick 6, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's get this party started, Naomi, with a race 1. This is for 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races. Claiming price $16,000. It kicks off the early pick 5, races 1 through 5, mandatory payout, 50-cent minimum, 12% industry low takeout. And Naomi, this race is going 3/4 of a mile, and you and I both have the 6. Contraflow on top. Sheldon Russell rides for Michael Stidham, and this one comes in from Tampa, turning back, and has some strong figures.
Yeah, we know that's an angle you'd like. It's cooler today than it was yesterday. We had about 85 Fahrenheit yesterday, 65 or so today, coming from Tampa. Sprinted clear at Tampa, where there's a fair bit of speed, ended up getting tired and backed up there. Now tries his hand here at the 6 furlong. And I just think he's going to be happier out here and have a little bit of less pace pressure drawn to the outside, gives Sheldon some options. And he broke his maiden after nearly a year and a half off with a 70 27 top buyer speed figure, now cutting back in distance after having shown speed in that last try. I think this is going to suit him.
You make a good point. Drawing toward the outside, he's shown speed going long, but Sheldon can make all the decisions from out there. 4 good works, 3 good works since his last race, including a most recent work, April 22nd at Tampa. Got on the truck, came up here, still going to be hitting a bunch of a cooler air this afternoon. The one more twirl for Mr. Comlo. Charlie Marquez gets the call. Hey, this one's been hanging around, running pretty well lately, and ran a lifetime best in his last start.
Yeah, that last start, he was kind of behind the 2 leaders there and really tried to make his game. But he never really switched leads, kept running on. I think this is the type of horse that really we're looking for to come with a bit more late than he showed that day. And hopefully he can switch leads today.
That will help. It never hurts. At the Alidar, you won't remember, but Alidar, famous Alidar, ran behind a firm Triple Crown. He was a bad lead switcher. In fact, he didn't switch in the Derby or the Preakness. It took the 1.5 miles and the blinkers off to get him to switch in the Belmont Stakes, but still ran second nonetheless. But that was a great series of Triple Crown. As we move to race number 2, Super High 5 gets started in race 2. Any field with 7 or more runners, Super High 5 wagering is available. Also, the early pick 4 gets started right here. And Naomi, you put us together a ticket.
I did indeed. Trying to find some value here. Chose to go with the early pick 4. Go 4 deep in this first leg. 3, 5, 6, and 7. I'm hoping that there's going to be a little bit of a price coming in this first leg to set myself up quite nicely. Race number 3, I used the 1A, the 3, and the 5. The 1A I like on top in this spot. Was a coupled entry, now just a single entry there. Tutti Benvenuti for Jorge Duarte Jr., Julian Pimentel. Ended up beating Don't Let Sweet Fool You in her debut. Now we know Don't Let Sweet Fool You went on to win the Primanata and the Willa on the move sprinting. She's coming off a long layoff but working quite decently, and Jorge Duarte does quite well with these longer layoffs. 37% he gets them going first off the bench, so I'm taking that. Race number 4, I used the 1 and the 4. Aladdin Sailing on the rail seems to have started to find himself again here with Cahill Lynch. Makes his second start for the Lynch stable. And then the number 4, Martini Lane, has the pace edge once again here, but has had a couple of good trips and still got collared late. So hopefully this time he can hold them all off. And then in race number 5, I used the 5 and the 8 there. The 8 being my top pick on the turf here. Pebble Road for Edward Graham's second start in the last 1.5 years. So definitely a fresh horse coming in, but bred to go so beautifully on the turf by the mighty Australian sire in Long Row. And one of a similar layoff in 2018 on the all-weather, breaking her maiden over a mile. So taking her there for a total $24 flat for the early pick 4 sequence.
Race 2 is a claiming event, $8,000 claiming race going 1.16 for 3-year-olds and up, wide open. And Naomi, both you and I once again have the 6 Charging Lion on top, winner of his last 2. And we're going to take a look at his last win. We're going to pick that up at the quarter pole.
Yeah, and Charging Lion got an absolute perfect ride here by Johan Rosado. Got the perfect box lead and just kind of slipped through on the rail, as you see there. Hard-assed by Johan Rosado. You can see him eyeballing the other runner there, but responding and able to hold off and win by a head. So to me, why not get the same perfect trip again here? Slot in from gate 6, a little bit of speed on his inside, hopefully get another toe in that perfect stalking position and do something similar again.
And this will be second off the claim for Jamie Ness this afternoon. He won first off the claim in that last start that you saw. We both like the 7 to the outside of Brutus for Kieran McGee. Javion Toledo gets the call. This horse has been in pretty good form since being claimed, but he gets to run on his home track this afternoon, and we know McGee gets very tough when he's at home here in Baltimore.
Yeah, always that home track advantage. Of course, Javion Toledo had a double yesterday, so riding high. This is a horse that has the best late speed figures of any in the field, yet he's not an out-and-out closer. He can sit close enough. He can press the pace if they're not going fast enough. Yet if they are going a good clip up front, he can sit mid-pack and then still ratty. He's one of the, well, actually the only one in this field with a late triple-digit speed figure that makes me think, ooh, you got to be wary for Brutus.
Race 2, Naomi and I see exactly the same 6, 7, 5-3 in the second as we move to race 3. A nice first level allowance race going 3/4 of a mile. And Naomi, you have the 1A on top. Tutti Benvenuti, best name of the day, no doubt
Absolutely.
about that. Tutti Benvenuti. I'm going to get that one right. Coming off a long layup for George Duarte. And as you pointed out earlier, George very, very good off this layoff, 37% with a bunch of runners.
Yeah, and this is, you always look at those kind of trainers, how do they do off the layoff? Some trainers like to just give them a run to get themselves to peak fitness, but Jorge Duarte Jr. gets them ready to fire straight off of it. And she has had a fair bit of a break, 279 days away, but she was so sharp on debut. 3 wide, aggressive, tenacious, comfortably beat Don't Let Sweet Fool You. And as I highlighted earlier, Don't Let Sweet Fool You went on to be a multiple stakes winner, winning the Prix Moneta, the Willa on the Move sprinting. So the fact that they bring her back at this first level allowance once again, she's relatively unexposed in comparison to a few of the fillies that she's going to encounter here today. I'm taking my chances with Tutti Benvenuti.
In my exacta, but I have my price play of the day in race 3 this afternoon. That's the 5 stay out. Dale Capuano stepping up to this first level allowance condition, and this is the old gray mare. She's in good form right now, and she's very, very dangerous when she gets to the front.
Oh, she's in terrific form. She has not been outside of the money in her last 5 starts. Absolutely demolished the non-winners of 3 lifetime class last time out, winning by 6 1/4. And she was dueling that. That wasn't an easy thing to do. She was dueling before taking over, so showed so much. Got a 2.5-month break. Steady works, which is kind of common for Dale Capuano, so absolutely not a worry whatsoever to see that there. I use her as well because you want to be careful with stay out. She's going to show so much speed once again.
And she's in good form. This is the time you try an A other than when you've got a mare in good form as Stay Out is. So I'm going to take a shot with Stay Out. 3-1 on the line in race 3. Take out the 1, be present in race 3. That horse was 7-5. Part of the entry. That was part of the entry with Tutti Venuti. But that entry is 7-5, Tutti Venuti. The stronger part of the entry. As we move to race 4, which kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. This afternoon, I have a ticket for that. We have a little bit of a carryover, $4,874. I have a $38.40 ticket, very affordable ticket, and I spread late, so I'm light early. I go 1-4 in race 4. The 1, Aladdin Sane, is my top pick in that event. In race 5, 6, and the 8, I like the 8 on top there, Pebble Road for Eddie Graham. Don't sleep on Eddie Graham. He knows his way around the turf horse. He's had a couple good ones. We'll get into that in a minute. My single comes in race 6. That's the 1, Being Indiscreet for Cal Lynch. Dropping back down to the $5,000 level should be very, very tough. Now I start to spread. Race 7, 3 deep there, 2, 5, and 7. The 5, first-time starter, my top pick for Brittany Russell in race 5. Race 8, these 2 races are tough. 4 deep in race 8, the 2, the 6, the 7, and the 8. The 7, Dalton, another Georgie Duarte entry. Javion Toledo gets the call, is my top pick. But don't sleep on the 2, Silent Service, or the 8, Sue Loves Barbados for Dale Capuano. I love turning back to 5.5 furlongs this afternoon. And in race 9, spread deep there, wide open, 5/8 of a mile on the grass, 5, 7, 8, and 10. And my top pick is the 10, Pascal Chan for Dale Capuano. $38.40 ticket. Good luck if you play along in the Rainbow Pick 6. Race 4 is for non-winners of 2 lifetime, $10,000 claiming event going a mile on the 16th. And we're going to get started with your top pick in this event, the 4, Martini Lane, first off the claim for Mario Soray. And we're going to look at his race from April 22nd, and we're going to pick it up midway through the turn.
Yeah, and he was one of the leaders there. And you can see that Charlie did his utter best to try and keep some energy in the tank. Actually, that was before he was joined by that horse because he was going fast early, then trying to deliver for him down the lane, but just came up a touch short. But what are you going to get when you're doing 47 and 47-1 for the half there. That was 47-2, excuse me. That was incredibly sharp. So this time around, Martini Lane has the pace edge once again. But look, I love what I'm seeing here. He is battling. He is trying so game. He does have to give in to Imagine winning there late. But Imagine winning came from off the pace, whereas Martini Lane, as I said, went straight to the front. And Charlie just trying to save there a little bit. But that is a horse that just wants to go. So once again, this horse is going to go to the front. You just hope that if he possibly gets that position, takes back a little bit, he can kind of coast more with a lot more left to give when it comes to that wire here. That is also his problem because he's had those good trips before. He's had that pace advantage before and still gets caught. So it's a tough one, but I hope Martini Lane can carry them all the way.
And first off, the claim for Mario Saray, he's about 29%. We talked about this horse pre-show in the office, and you were going to single on this horse. Said, well, I like this horse. He's
I changed my mind.
But be careful. He's 1 for 25. He likes to run second and third, 5 seconds and 6/3 in those 25 starts. So I think I talked you off of it, didn't I? Not singling on Martini Lane. Yeah. My top pick is the one, Aladdin Sane for Cal Lynch. This one's second off the break, about 18%. Second off this type of layoff. He had a good return, getting beat 2 lengths at this same level on April 8th.
It seems like the new barn and routine for this 5-year-old gelding has really brought him back into form again. He showed spirit in his last try behind Big Rinny. I thought that was a very decent try there. However, Big Rinny then ran back at nickel level yesterday and finished down the field. So that doesn't help Aladdin Sane here. But like I said, second start for a new barn and second after that couple of months layoff. That could mean that he's gearing up for a peak performance.
4-1 for Naomi in race 4, 1-4 for myself. We need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll look at the late pick 5.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round on her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Today at the Racetrack. Today at the Races. Racetrack also at Pimlico Racecourse, Old Hilltop. We're happy to be here. Late pick 5 gets started in race 5. No carryover from yesterday, but the late pick 5 is always a well bet. You'll want to get involved in Pimlico's late pick 5 this afternoon. The 5th race is a claiming event. Fillies and Mares never won 3 races, going a mile and a 16th on Pimlico's grass course, our first grass race this afternoon. And Naomi, both you and I are on the 8 Pebble Road. Horacio Caramanos rides for Eddie Graham. This one gets back on the turf for a very good grass conditioner.
Yeah, and this is a typical turf closing mare. She's drawn perfectly to give Caramanos all the options to kind of slide in from the outside. She won of a similar layoff in 2018 because she's coming in fresh. This will be her second start in about a year and a half. Had a 260-day break after her last run on the all-weather at Prescott Isle Downs. Had a 287-day break before that, so clearly very lightly campaigned as of late. But as I highlighted, in 2018, she won of a similar layoff, breaking her maiden on the all-weather that day, and she is by the mighty Australian champion sire in Long Row, Colfoot Cup winner, Australian Guineas winner, so on, a beautiful Australian stayer. And that's what she showed as well, that she likes to go long on the all-weather or on the turf. So I like her coming in here, and fresh, that could certainly work well on the turf.
No doubt about that. And Eddie Graham, don't sleep on Eddie Graham. He won the Grade 1 Arlington Million with Hardest Core. He won the Grade 3 American St. Ledger with Postulation. So he absolutely knows what he's doing. You're getting Caramanos, who we love on the grass. The 6, Carol Queen, comes in for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. This is his first off the claim. Don't look at anything. Just go down that form. Find this one's last turf race, and you're going to find a race that fits right in here.
Absolutely. Her last turf effort at Monmouth going long, that was really, really sharp. And she showed exactly what we were talking about also at Pebbles, that deep closing turf kind of running style. And you see a fair few horses coming in of dirt tried that are might going to show a bit of speed. And then you have these out and out turf horses that, when I say out and out turf horses, I'm meaning these are horses that show better form when they go on the grass in comparison to their dirt stride. They tend to take to it so well that they show just a whole different level. And I feel like Carol Queen is, they're looking for her to return to that form again. She hasn't had much fun as of late on the dirt, now stretching out once again on the turf with JD Acosta on board, who is one of the leading riders here at present for the Preakness meet. So clearly has made himself quite a good start here and will try his best.
He always does. The 5, Paolo's Heart, horse that we have, my mare, we have a bit of interest in. When you look at her form, again, you go back to her turf races, they're close, and she might have the right running style. She just lays a little bit off of it if she can come with some finish.
Yeah, these races are so tough. Could you imagine trying to make the morning line for these? All these horses coming out of, turf tries that were quite far back. The number 5, Paola's Heart, is the same there. She won on the grass at Delaware in the summer of 2020. But here's the kicker. She gets Fergal Lynch aboard. Now, who won the stakes race on Saturday going this exact distance right here at Pimlico, the Dahlia Stakes? Fergal Lynch on Zantique, really allowing her to settle and then pulling her out at producing her at the right time. So if you want to have a rider on board that clearly knows how to ride a turf here, it's Fergal Lynch.
There's no doubt about that. That was a great ride last weekend from Fergal Lynch. Fergal came out of the winner's circle. He says, I was going to retire yesterday, but we got turf back, so I'm back. So Fergal is back, and the grass is back, and we're all happy for that. As we turn to race 6, this is a beaten claiming race, $5,000 going 3/4 of a mile. We're going to start with the 1 being indiscreet for Cal Lynch. Charlie Marquez gets the call. We're going to take a look at a video from 2 starts back on March 7th at the Laurel Park, and we're going to pick it up at the quarter pole.
Yeah, you can see her there in front, and that's exactly what she did all the way. She was never headed that day. Now, she's getting back down to this nickel level and a fast track, which she seems to prefer. Last time out, that muddy 6 furlong service, I used the term spinning her wheels a little bit. That's what you get when you have these out-and-out speed fillies that just can't seem to skip over it as well, whereas you see her here being incredibly comfortable, incredibly far in front of the field, and doing so with gusto. So I'm hoping that if she breaks strongly again, she can do exactly what she did 2 starts ago. So if she breaks and gets herself a nice footing here on this fast track, we're in business.
I think so. And like as you mentioned, back down to this $5,000 level. Look, she didn't run bad at that $16,000 level in her last start. She gets beat 3 lengths. She runs 4th. A pretty good effort. She comes back here. She gets back on a fast track at a level that we know she can handle. The 2, Family Fortune, we both use. You have her in your exacta for Mario Soray. 4th back off a layoff, a winning effort in her last start.
Yeah, winning effort in last start over course and distance gets turned back quite quickly here by Mario Soray Jr., but we've seen them do that frequently, and he's got pretty good stats doing so. Grant Whittaker partners up. You don't want to be sitting on this one. She's going to have that perfectly stalking trip. If Being Indiscreet goes forward, look for her to sit on her quarters or possibly a length behind comparison to, of course, how fast Being Discreet is going to go, but Family Fortune is going to absolutely have her eyes on her and try to run her down.
Race 6 certainly goes through the 1 Being Indiscreet for Cal Lynch. Both Naomi and I have that one on top in race 6. As we move to race 7, this is a maiden event, claiming price $25,000, going a mile and a 16th. And Naomi, both you and I have the 5. Down comes the night. First-time starter for Brittany Russell. There's a shocker. We've got Brittany on top with a first-time starter. Sheldon Russell gets the call. Been working well for debut with a real sharp gate work right here at Pimlico on the 18th.
Yeah, what
April.
a surprise that we have Brittany
right?
Russell's firster on top. To be fair, Super Splendor, I had interest in her. She's not lining up today for Michael Trombetta on the rail. So down comes the night. Now, I'm not a fan of the side here. Seville, 4%, 3-year-old and up first.
I agree.
that kind of did put me off. Now, is Brittany Russell good enough with the work tab that clearly, to me, looks solid enough? That 48-1 handy from the gate, that's good enough to win a race at this level. Sheldon Russell, terrific rider, that will give her a wonderful experience first time out, because that's what they do. They prepare them. They're not overphased. They put them in at levels that they're competitive, and we've seen it over and over again. So that's why I ended up on Down Comes the Night. Now, pedigree-wise, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan of the sire. The Dam won 4 times, though, and ran in stakes company on the turf going long. The Dam could run a bit, but none of the siblings have won the first time out. So those are a couple of things to keep in mind if you want to go elsewhere. You might want to go to a horse like the number 2, Helen Gibson, who is stepping up in class. First time off the claim for Claudio Gonzalez. She can be very dangerous, too.
And in full disclosure, both you and I had the one Super Splendor on top, and that one scratched, and we ended up on Down Comes the Night. But you're right, I agree with you. I'm not in love with the Sevilles, but the key here has been working well and certainly good enough for this $25,000 level, well entered by Brittany Russell. As you mentioned, the 2 Helen Gibson coming off a layoff, first time off the claim for Claudio Gonzalez. We know he's good off that type of layoff. He's always good off the claim, so certainly give the 2 Helen Gibson some consideration in today's 7th race. As we move to race 8 kicks off the main course of today's menu of racing, and it kicks off the Stronach 5, and it starts right here, Naomi, and I'll let you read through the menu. Or the Stronach 5.
Yeah, we kick things off. We have the pleasure of doing that once again here. Our race 8 is leg 8. Then we go to our friends at Gulfstream Park for race 9, leg C. Back to us again for a tough nightcap on the turf in race 9. And then we go to the West Coast, Santa Anita Park race 3, Golden Gate Fields race 3, to hopefully finish things on a winner here. But Tim, you're our Stronach 5 man. I tried to contribute, do my bit, and give some picks for our friends with the All-Star ticket. But you get
killing you guys. I've been killing you guys.
Well, in our defense, it's tricky when you are trying to construct a ticket and everyone comes in with different picks, because if you're strong on one race, you might want to go, tight in there and deep in another that you feel is more spread out, which is tricky when everyone wants to make sure that their leg comes in. But we've been doing all right, Tim. Don't knock us down now.
No. You've been doing all right. But how many brains are in that ticket? Come on.
4?
4? No, you guys are doing fine. It's just been really good to me lately, the Stronach 5, and I do have a ticket, a little bit more than I typically spend, but $96 ticket today, but I just had to. You have to spread in our races, and I certainly did in race 8 using the 2, the 6, the 7, and the 8. We go down to Gulfstream Park, 3 deep there, 2, 5, and the 6 again. In leg C back here at Pimlico. I spread in this turf race 5, 7, 8, and 10. Out to Santa Anita. I used 2 of them, the 4 and the 7. I like the 4 Painter's Love on top, adding blinkers for the first time. And my single comes at Golden Gate Fields. That's a 2, Space Odyssey. Made his Golden Gate Fields debut in his last start at this same level. Only got beat 3/4 of length while running second, and the figures just say this could be a good single. So there it is, $96 even, as my friend Naomi Tucker likes to say, on the Stronach 5. Good luck if you play. I think this is going to be very, very well played this afternoon. I think there's real opportunities, especially in our races, that you could bring home a horse $10, $15, $20 this afternoon. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Race 8, as I mentioned, is leg A of the Stronach 5. What a nice race here. First level allowance condition, going 5.5 furlongs for 3-year-olds. We always like to see the 3-year-olds running. And Naomi, both you and I have the 7 Dalton on top. Georgie Duarte brings this one in. Off a little bit of a layoff. We've seen the last time we saw this one was in the James F. Lewis, and we're going to pick it up right now.
Yeah, this is a stakes placed runner coming back at that optional claiming first level here. And you can see him there making his move, trying to get to Legamo, which he does. He's able to sit close to others and try his best. When pulled into the clear there, you can see he's about to range up. And then he's alone up front at one point. Looks like the winner. It looks like he's going to get there. A very, very solid performance there. But you can see no sense, about to range up on his outside. He gives him a good run for his money, though. Look at that. He looks at him, he tries to re-break, tries to go for it, has to admit defeat. But this is a solid stakes performer, as just highlighted in the James F. Lewis, who's eligible for disc conditions. To me, stands above them if he turns up fit. As you mentioned, 167 days away from the track, has been prepping at Colts Neck Stable up in New Jersey. Average looking works, nothing flashy there, but Jorge Duarte Jr. If you look at his 61 to 180 day stats, you think, oh, that's not that good. 13% winners, perhaps not what we want to see. But we were highlighting his stats for 180 days over before. What was it? 37% winners. So clearly a trainer that can get them ready to fire off the layoff, even though those stats don't agree with me there. I think you should take the bigger picture into account here. And if Dalton is fit and ready, to me, he's the class of the field. But I was looking at your ticket here. You're spreading in this. Now, I'm having a little bit buyer's remorse because looking at this again, we all look back at the fields in the morning once again. The number 4, it's sizzling time. You didn't use spreading out there. I didn't use underneath either. And this is a gelding that went gate to wire twice over this distance, faded going further last time out, and now getting back to what he absolutely loves. I'm wary. I'm getting buyer's remorse here.
I'm not.
Okay, good.
I just think this is a tougher field than he's been facing in those other races. So I am not going to get buyer's remorse here.
Just because you spread, I was just trying to help you out there.
No, it's okay. But going back to Dalton, look, this is a Colt that's never run a bad race. He's simply never run a bad race. He runs behind no sense. We just saw that in the James F. Lewis. He would come back to win. He gets beat in noses by picket time. He would come back to win. This is a runner here in Dalton. If he shows up in any kind of capacity today, if he can do that off the layoff, he's going to be very, very good. I like Sue Loves Barbados to the outside this afternoon. Dale Capuano, Georgia Ruiz gets the call, gets back to a fast track. And I really thought that Sue Loves Barbados would really appreciate the 7/8 of a mile. In his last start, wasn't the case. Just flattened out. It was in the mud, but we get back to a fast track. We get back to 5.5 furlongs, and this is a horse that almost nailed its sizzling time when its sizzling time was kind of coasting on an easy lead. So I like this one getting back to 5.5 furlongs. Its sizzling time could have a little company up there. You've got Quist down toward the inside, who showed speed first time out of the box. Silent Service might be a little sharper with blinkers on today. And don't forget the 6 Exculpatory, who ran a big race first time out for Mark Reed.
Yeah, this is quite the race. I am very much looking forward to this. One of the most competitive fields this entire day, and I absolutely love seeing these 3-year-olds do battle. Now, Sue Loves Barbados, I remember you liking him, stretching out to the 7 furlongs. He didn't run a bad race. No. Just Hemp was so much the best that day. I actually think that if you would put Sue Loves Barbados on a fast 7 furlong track, he's going to relish it. So I'm not a fan of moving him back to the 5.5. The way he runs, the way he covers the ground, to me says 6 or further 7 furlongs. So that's my reasoning using him in third, because as you highlighted, he did run very well over this distance, but I just think he's going to peak going a little bit further. Now, Dale Capuano, a veteran on this circuit, so I don't want to argue with his choice putting Sue Loves Barbados in here, but I just give a slight nudge here to Silent Service for trainer Michael Trombetta. Has speed, was giving a furious chase to escapability that day, came back and allowed to finish evenly. The blinkers go on, low draw. I think Silent Service can move forward here.
Stay tuned. Big race in race 8 as we move to race 9, which is leg C of the Stronach 5. This is wide open. 12-5, 5/8 on the turf. And we're going to start with our top pick. Namely, both you and I have the 10 Pascal Chant on top for Dale. And this one gets back to the turf. It's only run once on the turf. But it was a big race, his lifetime best. He's 1 for 1.
Yeah, I think he's going to absolutely relish getting back on this beautiful turf course here. If you look at the way he runs over dirt tracks, he has a bit more of a higher knee action than some of the others do, which to me translates so well, skipping over the grass, that sometimes, you know, you just want to be able to get over it a little bit better than that shorter, tighter stride that you see on the dirt. And as you mentioned, he is 1 for 1 on it there at Monmouth Park, going 5.5 furlongs, right on the pace, has that tactical ability to sit close and absolutely take them all the way. Is in good form. That last race, just putting a line to it, 2 starts back, 1 at that non-winners at 3 level. To me, that means that you're getting a horse that has got some race fitness under his belt, because sometimes you're getting, you know, these turf starters here that haven't ran in a while, waiting for the turf to come back. Pascal Chant has been running quite a fair bit and gets back to that beautiful grass.
He's race fit, and that can go a long way. We both like the 8 Nautical Nature. Also, we have a video from his last grass start, which was last October, and this is one who absolutely loves the turf.
I mean, look at him. He's just having a ball up front there, isn't he? So much speed. He tried to steal it up the front. Nearly did. Look at him there. Nearly did. Really solid splits at that restricted level allowance sprint on the turf. In for 10K here. That's a massive drop in comparison to the company he kept that day. Looking for a rebound, though, after not having enjoyed the dirt surface in his last handful of starts. So much speed once again. Yomar Ortiz gets aboard. I love seeing him return to the grass here. We keep saying that. A horse is coming back to what they love to do. That's what we look for, and that's why you and I see this race quite similarly.
Exactly, which is amazing. A big turf field, and we have the exact same numbers in race 9. That's our card, a nice card today at Pimlico. Naomi, it's time for what's turning into our favorite part of the show. I can almost can't wait to get to it. It's the lightning round. And we've got yesterday's graphics on there, but that's okay. Let's start with Carol Cedeno. Yesterday she had a big day. She had a triple, and it was a nice day for Miss Cedeno, who is now our leading rider.
Look, she's incredibly sharp.
Motivation deep out of the center. Bell Tapestry holding well down to the inside. A 16th left to go. Here's Bell Tapestry and Motivation. Bell Tapestry and Carol Cedeno. Bell Tapestry does it again. 4 in a row from Motivation. Pahanic pouring it on and opening up under a drive by 3, almost 4 lengths. On Audacious Quality second. Company Clown to the center of the track, trying to close willingly, but third at this point with a 4 furlong left to go. Here's Tapahanic. Tapahanic solid by 6. Company Clown second best to Tapahanic and Carol Cedeno. Brooks Robinson from Ziggy second. Golden Candy closing late to the far outside. Here comes Golden Candy gobbling up the ground. Golden Candy keeps on coming. Ziggy digs in narrow lead though. Golden Candy on the outside. Golden Candy. Carol Cedeno gets the candy 3 times today.
From the front end, from coming from behind, she just did it all yesterday.
Absolutely. That's why I say she's so sharp, so tactically aware. That feature race that she won there with Golden Candy, she realized how much speed was in that race. The gates opened and there was 3 or 4 horses gunning for the lead. What did she do with Golden Candy? She settled him at the back. She was like, all right, guys, you go to the front. I'm just going to take my time. Makes this move around the turn at the right time, and you can see her thundering down mid-stretch. And look how strong she is in a stretch drive as well. She can time it right from behind. She can use a horse's speed, go to the front like she did with Bell Tapestry. He has a lot of speed. She's like, all right, we're going to go straight to the front. That's your strength. We're going to use it. Gosh, Carol Cedeno, look, I've only got praise for her. She does an incredible job, is very aggressive in it as well. Sometimes perhaps a little bit too aggressive when she puts horses in tight spots. But on the flip side, that also means that she's going to take you all the way. She's going to do whatever she can to get your horse home. And I respect that.
A perennial leading rider at Delaware Park. We want to have her around here much more, I don't think. I assume she'll go back to Delaware. But it's certainly fun to have her right now. Naomi, let's talk a little bit of Oaks. Since you're here today, let's talk about the Kentucky Oaks and your picks for this afternoon.
Oh, so much fun. The Kentucky Oaks coming up. What is it? 5:51 post time Eastern.
Yes.
Guys, you have to be tuning into the action at Churchill Downs Day. I end up going with the number 6 travel column on top. That's perhaps a bit more of a subjective play for me. Aside from the fact that she's very highly regarded there, 3-1. Last time out in the Fairground Oaks, she was incredibly sharp to go to the front from the outside gate. Was used a little bit by Florent to do so. Head to head before sort of dropping back to the quarter on the leader because Florent realized that you don't want to use her too much early, ridden patiently before then just producing her, and she kicks clear so dominantly by 2 3/4 lengths. To me, my reasoning for picking her on top here is not because I think that she's on raw talent, the most talented in this field. I think she's the most developed product here in terms of what Brad Cox has allowed her to do, the way that he's, she has been headed before, she has come back. This is a filly that's just an out and out pro, and that's why I'm using her on top. But Malafat underneath the number 10, that's raw talent. This is a filly that I think a mile and an eighth, she can probably even go further. She only started running in the final half or furlong in the Ashland Stakes that day, just narrowly turned over past the Champagne, who I use underneath because Malafat is the favorite. Past the Champagne, only got beaten by a head 15-1 morning line. That's handicapping 101. That's value you want to take. As well as the fact that Past the Champagne was in front for quite a bit by herself. Maybe Joelle went a little bit too, Javier went a little bit too early on her that day. So I'm using the 6 travel column, the 10 Malafat, and then the 5 Past the Champagne underneath.
I have the 5 also in my exact Past the Champagne, but I have the 10 Malafat on top. All right, here today, gone tomorrow. So we got to get your picks for the Kentucky Derby. So let it rip.
Oh, I mean, this is tough, right? 20-horse field. We're trying to find our way through here and get a little bit of value, and that's what I'm hoping to do. Number 9, Hot Rod Charlie. I am trying to beat Essential Quality, the morning line favorite here. 8-1.
I don't think it's that hard.
8-1 currently on the line for Hot Rod Charlie. Doug O'Neill's trained. He's already had 2 Kentucky Derby winners, knows how to get them ready here. And Hot Rod Charlie had enough speed to get himself out of a tight Louisiana Derby stud. He had to fight for that. You need a horse with pace in the Derby. You want a horse that doesn't hang about at the start and get himself a nice position that you don't have to navigate all that traffic early. Smidgen closer to the pace than Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and got overturned by less than a length that day as a 2-year-old. I think Hot Rod Charlie is certainly a price horse to use. I do use the 2-year-old Champa Essential Quality underneath there, just by the sheer fact that I think he has what it takes to win this race, is incredibly professional, can sit right close to the speed, can take back if they do go too fast, if the pace does develop. Now, it's interesting because a lot of sort of pre-race talk has been, do we think the pace is going to be fast? There has been talk that people think, yes, there are so many horses here that want to go to the lead. This is going to be a blistering pace. I'm still wondering if it's going to be faster than usual, but I think Essential Quality can navigate whatever the setup will be. I do use the number 15, Rock Your World, on top, underneath here as well. Wow, what an unexposed 3-year-old. If we're talking about talent, this is he's the only horse in here with triple-digit speed figures, a 1:00 for his Santa Anita Derby win. Now, don't think he beat that deep of a field, so that you can hold against him. He wasn't headed that day, but that was his debut. That was his dirt debut in comparison to the fact that he was campaigned on turf before. John Sadler just kept him away from us. He was like, I'm just going to leave this horse to my own devices here. I'm going to campaign him on turf, not have to go against these Bob Baffert monsters that we see on the West Coast. Brings him in the Santa Anita Derby, absolutely demolishes that field. If you're talking about a horse that has all the talent in the world to win the Kentucky Derby, I say Rock Your World. I
like Rock Your World. I have him on top. I do have Hot Rod Charlie in my exact. Now, the problem I have with Hot Rod Charlie is, and you know how I am about this, he's had some races where he has not gotten away well, and you have to get away well in the Kentucky Derby. If you don't, you are crushed. You are virtually finished unless you happen to be Seattle Slew, and you can just barrel your way through there and win the Triple Crown. And he breathed a different air than any runner here. But it's going to be an interesting race. Naomi, we've had so much fun. We've gone really long, but what? It's Oaks Day. It's a great card of racing here at Pimlico. That's going to do it for us. Dave Rodman will be up next with Scratches and Changes. Naomi and myself will be back later.